right now. Chase, when I think about trust in different aspects of a football team, Dallas specifically, what do you trust the most?
That's easy for me. It's Dak Prescott. He's had the best year of his career. He's stepped up in multiple different platforms, limited turnovers, did a good job against the pass rush, getting out of the pocket, throwing the ball down the field. His growth has been tied directly with CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. So you see these two guys working together. They've really trusted each other. And Dak really, other than a few games, I mean, look, he should, and the numbers support it, he should be right up there in the MVP race. I know everyone's saying, hey, Lamar should win it. Rightfully so. Dak, second team, All-Pro. Look, and they're playing at home, right? Like, that's the biggest thing for me. The Cowboys at home, they all rank first. They're 8-0, 37.4 points per game, most by a team in a home stadium since the 2014 Packers, over 425 yards a game. They are a different team at home. Although, look, Jordan Love on the other side, very difficult to defend, but I think Dallas has their guy right now in Dak Prescott.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you said, and it's fantastic when you start to read off stats and you look at stats and, you know, not taking a swipe at the stats, but what I don't trust anyone. I don't trust anyone in anything because this is the playoffs. And the playoffs is a reset. Everybody starts at zero. It's a new opportunity. The playoffs are now in 2024.
Yep.
And so it's 2024 season. And you get to start off your 2024 season saying, hey, next season, next September, but we got to get through January and February. And January and February right now is a reset for everyone. So for me, I'm not really trusting anyone because that's what makes the playoffs so special. The Cinderella team, the hopeful team, the team that shouldn't be here because they've expanded, the teams that could be in there. So some of these barely 500 teams are in there. Some of these teams have made the Super Bowl by having a losing season. So you can't trust anyone because no one is trustable because it's all new. You put all your chips in and you play with house money and you roll the dice and you go out there and say, hey, we're going to give it all we have.
Okay, so if that is the case, then do you still have doubts about this Dallas team? Is there something that does creep into your mind based off of the evidence of the regular season?
For me, it has to be Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard has been a situational football player who all of a sudden has now, because of his performance, they've removed Ezekiel Elliott from the Dallas Cowboys. However, Tony Pollard has not had that explosive football game in which led us to make him be and believe after his injury, man, once he gets back healthy, watch out. We've been watching, and we're still watching.
Yep.
He hasn't had those explosive runs that we're used to seeing. And for the Dallas Cowboys to have a deep run in the playoffs, they have to have a run game. And why? To take the ball out of Dak Prescott's hands to also eat up the clock, have time of possession, make the opposing team and the opposing defense become impatient, make them get outside of themselves and uncomfortable. And how you do that is run the football and also play action with explosive plays that gives Brandon Cooks, who only has one drop all year, and gives CeeDee Lamb 135 receptions, Ferguson, all these different guys. So you have to have a strong pass game and a dominant run game. And we know when we talk about legendary, we talk about the Dallas Cowboys. What do we know? 88 is Michael Irvin, now CeeDee Lamb, right? What do we usually talk about in the run game? Because we got Ferguson, so that's Novacek. So now, who is the Emmitt Smith? Who's the running game?
Yep.
And that has to be Tony Pollard.
Well, I agree with you. What travels in playoffs, right? The run game and a defense. Dallas needs to get that run game going. But my doubt, without a doubt, is the Dallas Cowboys team as a whole, their playoff resume. Their playoff resume is not good. Specifically, Dak Prescott. I know we said trust him, but in the playoffs, look, Dak is 2-4. You want to talk about stats? He's 2-4 in his playoff career. He's 0-3 in the divisional round. So he might win a wild card or a super wild card game, but he's not going past that. And look, he has to be able to limit the turnovers, which he did in the season, okay? And he has to be able to make the big play when the big play presents itself. Don't do too much. Be yourself, okay? And go out there and make a play. Same with Mike McCarthy. Look, if the Dallas Cowboys make an early exit out of these playoffs, there's one name that I'm looking at that's sort of lurking around a little bit, and that's Bill Belichick. Look, I can't imagine a world where Jerry Jones says, okay, you know what, another playoff loss, another early round exit, another this, another that. I'm not saying that Mike's going to lose his job, but it is important to be known, like, they have very high expectations down there in Dallas, and they have not done a really good job in the playoffs.
Well, part of that, though, you saying Mike McCarthy, for the first time now, he's taken over complete control of the play calling. We're right here so far, so right across the pitch.
right there.
Right over there. Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator. And how does the Los Angeles Chargers looking this past year? You've seen a dynamic quarterback who's not lived up to expectations. Kellen Moore is not there. And I believe with Mike McCarthy taking over the play calling, you've seen his offense be more explosive. Dak having his best year. So I put that also less on Coach McCarthy and look at the odd man out of the room who's no longer in the room, which is Kellen Moore. And I look at that as Kellen Moore being the guy because he's the X's and O's. A lot of times we put too much pressure and expectations on the player and we scapegoat.
Yep.
And we don't even mention the coordinator. And I'm saying I believe the coordinator was the problem because look how well Dallas has been playing with Mike McCarthy, a real offensive coordinator and a real offensive-minded coach, really take over.
Yeah, look, and there's a lot of speculation on what you said about Bill Belichick. I throw another name into the mix, Dan Quinn, whose name has also popped up, and that obviously Jane Slater has talked about it even in the offseason, a big acquisition to just keep that guy in-house. So the names will be swirling, but more importantly, just take care of business in this game and have that conversation at the end of the season.